Here we have the student happy, relaxed, and engaged in the control condition with their synthesized reinforcers, which include the teacher's undivided attention and various tangible reinforcers. As we switch conditions, the teacher has the learner hand over all reinforcers before giving her an ambiguous task that includes filling out a worksheet while the teacher's attention is diverted elsewhere. Per staff interview and direct observation, these conditions have historically presented a difficult situation which typically evokes inappropriate behavior out of the learner. We see during this task the learner frantically scribbling on the worksheet and constantly checking in for staff directives and attention before becoming unfocused on the task that has been given. Some quick prompts and redirection back to the task from staff is given before we see R2 behavior evoked out of the learner. Once R2 behaviors are evoked, the teacher quickly shifts the learner back to the control condition, where they remain until the learner is happy, relaxed, and engaged. This process is again repeated in order to further test our hypothesis and determine the functional relationship between the learner's behaviors and their maintaining consequences. We see that in just a few trials of the practical functional analysis, the intensity of the learner's R2 behaviors quickly decrease in intensity as the game is learned. Here we have a contextually appropriate behavior 2, which consists of the learner relinquishing all reinforcers and complying with the directive to get up and transition to the workstation. All we are looking for in this step is for the learner to comply with this transition. Once this is observed, this compliance is reinforced by again providing access to all maintaining reinforcers. Here we have the learner in our class engaging in the skill-based treatment process. Historically, the learner has presented a number of challenges when faced with demands in the setting. Prior to the skill-based treatment, classroom staff have had to make a number of accommodations for the learner in regards to art class. Some of these accommodations have included restricting access to the art room, limiting smartboard usage, setting up areas away from peers, and ensuring all materials were already provided prior to the onset of the class beginning. Through the skill-based treatment process, the teacher ensures the learner is happy, relaxed, and engaged before transitioning over to the work table to sit with their peers. The learner is now able to engage in art class in the specified art room, work next to others, and perform a multitude of tasks instructed by the art teacher, all free of problem behavior. In addition to the decrease in environmental modifications made for the learner, you see through this activity the shared experience that is present. The teacher engaged in the art activity along with the student, modeling the parameters of the project, yet allowing the student to creatively add their own touch to the activity by providing a variety of choice related to paper, markers, and crayons. At this point in the process, we have begun to generalize the skill-based treatment to the learner's residential setting. Preceding this transition to the residence, the learner has generalized this process across her entire school day, including all staff members working in her classroom, as well as multiple areas throughout the school building. In interviewing significant others that worked with the learner throughout her day, there were a number of functional skills identified that needed strengthening. In this clip, we show the learner cooperating with the task of garbage removal. Prior to going outside, the learner is able to independently identify weather appropriate clothing, which at one point in time proved to be a difficult task. In comparison to the functional analysis, you'll notice the learner's independence with completion of the task. The staff provide the learner with a direction, which includes taking the garbage out, and the learner responds with appropriate engagement in the activity. There is no checking in with staff for help or to ensure she is doing the right thing like she previously was doing during the practical functional analysis. She understands the directive provided and is able to complete this activity independent of staff prompts. Laundry tasks were also agreed upon by staff as a functional skill essential to creating increased independence for the learner. Included in this CAB 6 are the tasks of folding clean clothes and towels, putting these items away in their appropriate places, as well as starting a new load of laundry that needed washing. It should be noted that while some steps require additional prompts due to just being taught, the learner is engaging in the process free of problem behavior. These tasks, along with the amount of uncertainty revolving around some of the steps in the process, would have previously evoked aggression and self-injury out of the learner. Through the skill-based treatment process, the learner is fully equipped and even eager to take on these new challenges that many are faced with every day. This graph represents the learner's R1 behaviors, which include physical aggression and self-injurious behavior. Per the data trend, we can see the reduction in these behaviors, which affords the learner ample opportunities throughout her day to work on functional skill building. As a result of this treatment, the learner has acquired a variety of functional skills as she is able to perform free of prompts and free of problem behavior.